We do begin here in Hawaii, still feeling the effects of Lala. Melissa Adon is on the Big Island, which rarely sees storms of this strength. And Melissa, I saw on your Instagram overnight, you were among the tens of thousands who lost power there.
Yes, Gio, it has been a powerful storm, and I want to show you that while Lala has weakened, it has faced so much flooding. Just check out the Wailuku River here. This is impressive. This is now just a raging river because intense rainfall that's fallen down from the mountain through Hilo is now pushing into this critical bridge. Well, law enforcement here on the Big Island say it is because of powerful water like that that swept away 2 homes. Overnight, Hurricane Lala lashing the Hawaiian Islands with fierce winds and torrential downpours. Swollen rivers surging, at least 1 person dead.
This is a very serious storm.
The governor declaring a state of emergency and deploying 180 National Guardsmen across the islands. Airports in Hilo and Kona shut down. Ports and schools closed.
Please, wherever you are, stay home, stay sheltered.
The hurricane knocking out power for more than 100,000 homes and businesses overnight. Nearly 70% of the Big Island is in the dark right now, and a third of Maui County. Lala's eye wall brushed right up against the Big Island's southern tip, with wind gusts as high as 85 miles per hour, but not making landfall. Lala strengthening to a Category 1 hurricane. We are feeling those strong wind gusts across the Big Island. The Big Island receiving 3 feet of rain from this storm, half of that falling in just 24 hours. The heavy rain causing the Wailuku River to rage, billowing over some of its waterfalls in Hilo. The Rainbow Falls, normally a postcard, now unrecognizable. But for some, it's the ocean they're watching most closely this morning.
What I'm most worried about is the ocean coming into my house, breaking my house down and washing us out to the ocean.
Overnight, the storm moving past Hawaii's Big Island and now pushing westward toward the rest of the island chain. The islands that were spared Lala's worst winds could still see its worst flooding. Now, the threat of Lala is not over yet. We can still anticipate 4 to 8 inches of rain here on the Big Island, over on Maui. And of course, Lala is now then going to be moving just south of the rest of the Hawaiian Islands. Rhiannon.
All right, stay safe out there, Melissa and crew. Let's head over to Samara Theodore. Let's get the latest on what Lala is going to do today. Hey, Samara.
Hey, good morning. All right, so you can see here that center of this storm, as Melissa was explaining, has passed just to the south of South Point, Big Island, and is now riding kind of parallel to the other islands. We're still seeing some rain whip into places like Naalehu along 11 into Volcano there, starting to lighten up, but they're still dealing with some serious flash flooding there. Flash flood warnings for that whole southern part just south of Pahoa. That's where we're seeing the flash flooding warnings. Hurricane warnings still in places. This is still a Cat 1 storm. What's going to happen next? This will continue its trajectory, pushing out to sea, but not before bringing a pretty good amount of rain to parts of the other islands like Maui and Oahu. Now, as we head through time, you can see things start to finally die down, but not before additional rain hits. Maui seeing 4 to 6+ inches of rain by the time it's all said and done. Meanwhile, Indianapolis, Indiana, here on the mainland, dealing with flooding as well. You can see this White River really just took out a whole road there. We've got level 3 out of 4 when it comes to a flood risk for parts of West Virginia today. We'll have more on that a little later. For now, Whit, back to you.
Yeah, a lot going on in the weather department, still not out of the woods yet. All right, Samara, thank you. Now to the strain on American forces as the war in Iran approaches 6 months. The CENTCOM commander, Admiral Bradley Cooper, visiting the USS Abraham Lincoln in the region following reports of food shortages and concerns over the mental health of sailors on the ship. Let's bring in ABC's Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz, who will be hosting This Week later on this morning. Martha, good morning. It's always great to have you. So the Lincoln has been at sea for a record-breaking stretch. What are your sources telling you about the conditions on board and how the administration is now responding?
Well, they are having problems, according to sailors on board that ship, with morale, with exhaustion. I mean, this is an incredibly long deployment, 268 days. But even more serious than that, they have not been in port all year. More than 2 100 days. And that really does put a strain on those sailors and Marines. I think that's why Admiral Cooper flew out there with these reports to kind of boost morale. They are getting relieved from another carrier in the next couple of weeks, but Democrats are demanding an investigation for the conditions on that ship.
And Martha, on the war itself, President Trump said after defeating Iran, he would declare the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory. How is Iran reacting to that statement? And is there any progress on potential peace talks?
Well, Iran said basically that the head of Iran's judiciary said basically that Iran is the owner and ruler of the Strait of Hormuz, called President Trump a couple of names about that. And as far as we know, there is still no end in sight. They are still trying to negotiate. The Navy is still blockading the strait. But no progress really to report this morning.
Nearly a half a year into this war, as we noted. Martha Raddatz for us. We appreciate it. And tune in to This Week later this morning. Martha interviews former Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Admiral Mike Mullen and Senator Ruben Gallego of Arizona about growing concerns over the conditions on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Plus, Martha reports from New England as well, where the Democratic Party's generational divide has taken center stage in several primary battles. Gio?
Okay, Whit, now to the rising death toll in Indonesia. After that massive 7.7 magnitude earthquake, dozens of people are reported dead, hundreds of homes destroyed. In some remote villages, they have been buried in mudslides. And Lama Hassan joins us now with the latest overnight. Lama, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you, Gio. That's right. Thousands of residents were forced to spend the night outdoors in tents. And this morning, the desperate search for survivors. Rescue teams moving from building to building, looking for any sign of life, combing through the mountain of rubble. The two powerful back-to-back earthquakes and hundreds of aftershocks hitting Indonesia on Saturday morning, killing at least 53 people and injuring more than 135 others. The first quake, one of the largest to strike the region in years, a 7.7 magnitude off the island of Flores, hit just before 6 a.m. local time, damaging hundreds of homes, buildings collapsing, people rushing out to find safety, terrified. You can even hear them screaming. The injured getting medical help from this makeshift hospital. Now, 12 hours later, the second massive tremor, measuring 6.9, striking the island of Sumatra. So far, no reports of any injuries or deaths there. The U.S. State Department issuing an emergency alert to all U.S. citizens in Indonesia, urging them to continue to monitor aftershocks and to seek secure shelter in any of the affected areas. Rhiannon?
Our thoughts with everyone there. Lama Hassan, thank you so much for that update. Authorities in Virginia say they have made an arrest following a shooting that left 5 people wounded at Virginia State University, south of Richmond. The injured were found outside of the dorms early Saturday. The campus was then in lockdown mode. Police say hours after the shooting, a 19-year-old was taken into custody. Officers say he was not a student at the university, and he was found hiding inside a dorm closet.
Rhiannon, now to the Middle East. As Israel launches airstrikes against southern Lebanon, the Lebanese health ministry says at least 11 people were killed. They are the deadliest attacks since Israel and Hezbollah agreed to a truce nearly 2 months ago. Israel says Hezbollah violated the ceasefire by attacking Israeli soldiers in the security zone. Gio.
All right, with the company that makes Flock surveillance cameras is trying to tame the backlash over privacy concerns. And Olivia Rubin is here now with the details on this. Olivia, good morning.
Gio, good morning. Flock says these high-tech cameras helped solve more than 1 million crimes last year, but changes are now on the horizon after dozens of reports of misuse, including stalking.
This morning, the company behind more than 120,000 license plate tracking cameras nationwide is promising major changes after a report alleged some police officers have been misusing those cameras, including to stalk women.
These changes fall into 3 big areas: privacy, security, and accountability. Together, they mark a new chapter for Flock.
Flock cameras automatically photograph every passing car into a database police can search. No warrant needed.
It uploads an image of the vehicle to a cloud that the 6,000 jurisdictions all have access to. So if you're driving down the road or driving in a parking lot in one city, the image of your vehicle can be downloaded and looked at by a police department across the country.
The Washington Post reporting at least 50 officers have been accused of misusing those plate readers, including to allegedly spy on their wives, their girlfriends, and their exes. This North Carolina officer arrested for allegedly tracking her boyfriend's ex-wife more than 30 times. She's set to appear in court at the end of the month. In response to the growing backlash and privacy concerns, Flock now says it will delete its data after 7 days instead of 30, require a criminal case number for every database search, and automatically lock out officers whose activity looks abnormal.
So will it solve less crime? It will. But as a business, we think 7 days is that new standard.
But privacy advocates claim it doesn't go far enough. The Center for Democracy and Technology calling it, quote, the same just trust us policy with a fresh coat of paint.
And Flock says they're, quote, not perfect and will keep listening, keep improving, and saying they'll have more updates in the coming weeks and months as these new changes start rolling out. Rhiannon.
All right, Olivia, we'll keep watching that. Thank you so much. Now to new research that says abdominal fat may be a better predictor of your heart disease risk than your BMI or your body mass index alone. BMI is the number that's commonly used to assess if you're at a healthy weight, but this new study says it could be missing key information. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton is here to tell us all about it. Dr. Sutton, is this surprising? I feel like we've always heard BMI, and now it's saying that might not be the number we need to look at.
You know, not necessarily surprising, but confirming what many nutritionalists and weight specialists have been talking about, which is that there are more factors that we should consider when we're talking about weight. And what this study suggests is that how you carry your weight or where you hold your weight might tell us something important that looking at your BMI might not or might be able or might unfortunately miss. So this study is actually from the journal The American College of Cardiology, and researchers followed more than 250,000 people for about 20 years. And they looked at their BMI, their waist circumference, as well as their waist to hip ratio. And what was striking about this study is that for adults, regardless of their BMI, for all adults who had a high or what's considered a high waist circumference, that was associated with outcomes like heart attacks, strokes, heart failure, as well as atrial fibrillation, which is an abnormal heart rhythm. Now, important to note, I see all of these complications in the emergency room, and I think it's so important because BMI is not the only risk factor, but we often associate it to that. Right. About 20% of people in this study with a normal BMI, or what's considered normal, had a high waist circumference, and those are people that BMI alone would not identify.
One other thing that's interesting about this study is you can actually check for this at home yourself. Yeah. How do you go about doing that?
Really simple. I grabbed this tape measure from my house, and it's something that I don't often use because, gosh, is it frustrating sometimes to try to do it
in the toolbox.
I measured myself, and I was a little bit too close for comfort. But what you can do simply is you put your hands on your hips. You feel your hip bones, and you're going to measure your waist. It's right above that area. And
right above your hip bone.
Right above your hip bone. So what's considered high in this study for women is 35 inches or more. What's considered high in this study for men is 40 inches or more. The next step you're going to measure is your hips, and that's just the widest part of your hip region. And you're going to take your waist measurement, divide it by your hip measurement. Sorry, I'm doing math this early in the morning. For women, a number over 0.85 is considered high. For men, a number over 0.90 is considered high. Now, these are important numbers that you can understand at home by just simply taking your measurements.
Okay, so we'll be doing that math. So let's say someone takes these measurements, they do it, they find that that measurement is a little high.
Yes.
What do you do with that?
No need to panic, and this is coming from a personal space. It's just one note or one indicator of your overall health. So when you take that measurement, write it down and use it as a factor in understanding your overall health, and then you're going to do a quick self-assessment. If you're finding that you're reaching those what's considered high numbers, you're going to ask yourself, are you getting the fundamentals? Are you getting enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night? I'm speaking to all three of you, and I know
thanks for that.
You know the answer.
And that's why I started with it. Are you getting enough important diet, heart-healthy diet, minimizing processed and ultra-processed foods? And are you getting physical activity? And if you're not able to reach your goals by even trying that at home by yourself, understand that these are systems and problems that you should bring to your doctor because it's just like high blood pressure or cholesterol. If you can't reach your goals by yourself, that's where medicine comes into play.
And what other metrics besides these can people monitor at home to reduce their risk of cardiovascular problems?
You know, so aside from taking track of your basic fundamentals, talking to your doctor about your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your blood sugar, those are the main factors that help you understand your cardiovascular risk so that you can know which direction to go in next.
All right. Important stuff.
Very
Thank
important.
you.
Thank
Yes,
you so
of course, of course.
The NFL back with a full slate of preseason games this weekend. Our best dressed buddy, Ike Ajachi, is here with the highlights. You're wearing the Jets green. How'd they perform for you, Ike?
Let's not talk about it.
With some other good stuff.
Yes, there's a whole bunch going on. Listen, preseason doesn't count, but nobody told these guys on the field, okay? We had games full of drama, a debut for the ages, and even a wedding ring cameo. That's right. 7 games kicked off week 1, and we're going to start in Baltimore where the Ravens rolled through the Eagles 24-7. Philly fans, relax, okay? Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, and Devontae Smith didn't even dress. But the story I love is Eagles rookie Uwar Bernard. He's from Nigeria. He had never played organized football before this year.
Yeah.
He was discovered at an NFL Africa camp coached by Arnold Ebiketie, who's now his Eagles teammate. Coach turned co-worker. On his very first snap, he bull rushed a Ravens lineman 5 yards backward.
Wow.
Not bad for a rookie still learning the rule book. How about that?
Incredible.
Rhiannon, this one's for you. In
Okay, I don't
Kansas
wanna
City,
hear this.
big upset. The Rams stunned the Chiefs 20-12. Rams rookie QB Ty Simpson, he threw 2 touchdowns. Harrison Butker's 4 field goals were the Chiefs' only points. And of course, we can't ignore this moment. Travis Kelce flashing that new wedding ring in the tunnel, showing married life's pretty good. Now, the Giants, they saw a familiar face return to the franchise. Odell Beckham Jr. making a return to MetLife Stadium for Big Blue after almost 8 years as they face Kyler Murray and the new-look Vikings. He hauled in 2 passes for 6 yards and was open downfield for several others. And, of course, out in Seattle, humbling night for the defending Super Bowl champs. Seahawks lost their opener at home, 17-7 to Dallas. That's okay. It's preseason. Now, guys, I know the wins don't count, but these storylines are already undefeated.
That's right.
They really are.
Loving it.
Where were the
Here.
49ers? They didn't play this weekend?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. Honestly, I don't, like you said, preseason, you know.
count.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. We're resting up. Thank you, Ike.